Ladies and gentlemen, stop scrolling. Because the streets just served us a scandal so spicy it makes the Kardashians look like Sunday school teachers. Forget Drake versus Kendrick. Forget Kanye arguing with a lamppost. This right here, this is the money war nobody saw coming. Big Meech, the man whose name echoes through hip-hop like a ghost in the trap, just put 50 Cent in the corner like a grounded teenager. And the words that shook the internet? Curtis, you're cut off. Number. BMF bag for you. Yes, you heard me. 50 Cent, the 9-bullet survivor, the king of petty, the man who built an empire on trolling his enemies into extinction, just got exposed by the very legend who made his TV empire possible. This isn't just drama. This is generational. Beef wrapped in dollar signs and dipped in pure disrespect. Imagine Santa Claus telling you Christmas is canceled. Imagine McDonald's telling Ronald he can't have fries. That's what Meech just did to 50, straight up canceled his bag. And if you think Curtis took it quietly, oh no, he raged harder than Twitter on Grammy night. And trust me, this is only the beginning. Let's start with the basics, because to understand just how messy this situation is, you've got to rewind the clock and peel back the layers of this hip-hop soap opera. This isn't your everyday rapper subtweets another rapper moment. This is bigger. This is the kind of scandal that makes love and hip-hop look like a Disney Channel rerun. Demetrius Big Meech. Flannery isn't some random guy who got name-dropped in a verse. He's the blueprint, the myth, the urban legend whose name carries more weight in the streets than a Costco shopping cart full of bricks. Founder of the infamous Black Mafia Family, Meech built an empire so flashy and powerful that people still argue whether it was business or mythology. He had the cars, the cash, the clubs, the respect. Meech was basically the Jay-Z of the underworld, but with better parties and way fewer Grammys. Enter Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. If Meech is the legend, 50 is the hustler who turned other people's stories into Hollywood gold. From the corner to the charts to the boardroom, 50 built himself into an empire too, but his specialty wasn't just rap. It was pettiness, trolling, and flipping real-life street tailies into blockbuster TV sagas. And when stars handed him the keys to produce BMF, 50 did what 50 always does. He turned it into a cultural juggernaut. The show blew up. Fans were binging like it was oxygen. Lil Meech got his Hollywood debut, and suddenly everyone from Atlanta to LA was walking around saying BMF like it was scripture. But behind the glitz, the whispers started. Because while 50 was cashing checks and selling merch, the streets wanted to know how much of that bag was actually going back to the man who lived the life. And that's where the cracks started showing. Because in this game, respect is worth more than royalties. It's not enough to tell the story, you've got to honor the source. And word started leaking that maybe, just maybe, 50 was stacking his BMF bag a little too high, while Meech, the architect of the empire, was getting left in the shadows. At first, fans dismissed it as gossip. After all, 50's whole brand is built on control. He's the troll god. The man who roasted Ya Rule into oblivion, who turned bankruptcies into punchlines, who can start beef with a bottle of his own champagne. Who in their right mind would call him out? But then came the curveball, the leak. Big Meech, usually quiet, letting his son carry the torch while he handled his own battles, finally spoke up. And what he said hit harder than 50's diss. Track back down. Meech made it clear Curtis wasn't touching the BMF bag anymore.
Cut off. Done. Finished. The bag had left the building. Picture it. 50 Cent.
The mogul who prides himself on always being the smartest man in the room, suddenly being told the ATM is locked. It was like finding out your Netflix password doesn't work anymore, and the account owner is laughing at you from prison. The internet exploded. Screenshots, reposts, reaction videos. It was chaos. Fans couldn't believe it. The man who built his TV empire off Meech's story had just been exposed as the one getting shut out. Twitter threads popped up faster than Kanye controversies. One user wrote, 50 went from executive producer to executive beggar real quick. Another posted, Meech really hit Curtis with the Ono reverse card. And of course, the memes rained down like confetti at a Super Bowl parade. But here's where it gets even messier. Because for Meech, this wasn't just about money. This was about legacy. His name, his empire, his story, these weren't props for Hollywood. They were real. They were blood, sweat, and time. And watching someone else turn that into streaming. Ratings without giving him his proper cut? For Meech, it was disrespect turned up to 100, and for 50. Oh, this was humiliation. Because Curtis Jackson doesn't do cut off, he does the cutting. He's the one who ends careers, ruins record deals, and buys out entire rows of concert tickets just to troll his enemies. Being on the receiving end? That's not in his DNA. Watching Meech shut him down was like watching Superman slip on a banana peel. Unbelievable, hilarious, and tragic all at once, fans started calling it the BMF bag scandal. Headline screamed, Big Meech exposes 50 Cent. No more money from BM. Hip-hop blogs went into overdrive, dissecting every syllable. Was this the end of their partnership? Was Stars about to get dragged into a legal battle? Did 50 even have the rights to keep the show rolling without Meech's blessing? Suddenly, everyone from academics to YouTube commentators was breaking it down like it was the Zapruder film. And let's not forget the fans who just showed up for the mess. TikTok was flooded with edits of 50 Cent's old interviews spliced with Meech's words. Instagram pages posted fake screenshots of 50 begging Meech for a payment plan. People were having too much fun with Curtis' downfall. And in the court of public opinion, once you're the meme, you've already lost. But let me be clear, this was just round one. Meech may have dropped the bomb, but 50 Cent isn't the type to hide in the rubble. He's the kind of guy who will crawl out, dust himself off, and start throwing shade before the smoke clears. And the world? Oh, the world was waiting for his clapback. Because when two titans like this clash, one built on street legend, the other built on Hollywood hustle, the fallout is guaranteed to be messy. We're talking celebrity reactions, Hollywood panic, internet meltdowns, and a trolling war for the ages. And if you thought Meech cutting 50 off was the peak of the drama, think again. The storm was only beginning. If you thought the first bombshell was wild, oh, buckle up, because this is where the story takes a nosedive straight into the twilight zone. Big Meech dropping the hammer on 50 Cent was shocking enough. But the aftermath? It spread faster than a Kardashian scandal mixed with a Kanye tweet storm. Suddenly, it wasn't just about Meech and Curtis anymore. It was about the culture, the legacy, and the fact that everybody loves watching the mighty fall flat on their Gucci belts. The celebrity reactions came in like fireworks on the 4th of July. Rick Ross, who already treats beef with 50 like cardio. Exercise, couldn't resist. Rose hopped online with a grin wider than his pool and said, "See? That boy 50 can't even keep his own hustle. He'd been eating off Meech, now Meech cut the buffet line." The comment section went nuclear. Fans were quoting Ross like it was scripture, calling it the lemon pepper freestyle of shade. And of course, Ya Rule showed up, because if there's a chance to clown 50, Ya is front row with a megaphone. He posted a laughing emoji so big you'd think he trademarked it with the caption, "Damn, karma got the GPS now." People dragged Ya for still being obsessed with Curtis after 2 decades. But let's be honest, he finally had a W to celebrate, but it didn't stop there. Even non-rap celebs jumped into the pool of chaos. Meek Mill tweeted something cryptic like, "Never forget who gave you the alley-oop. Respect the source." Cardi B laughed on Instagram Live, sipping tequila and saying, "This like when somebody think they the boss but the real boss wake up from a nap." Even 21 Savage threw in a casual Issa L, which somehow made the situation 10 times funnier. And while the celebrity peanut gallery roasted Curtis, the memes were pure art. Twitter went full Picasso with Photoshop. One meme had Meech holding a giant pair of scissors cutting through a money bag with 50's face on it. Another showed 50 Cent's character Kanan from Power begging Ghost for rent money. TikTok stitched together skits of fake phone calls where Meech says, "Yo, 50, that BMFATM? Yeah, out of service, brr." The creativity was insane. Meanwhile, hip-hop forums and gossip blogs went CSI mode. They started digging into contracts, royalties, behind-the-scenes whispers. Screenshots surfaced of supposed conversations where Meech expressed frustration about not seeing proper compensation from the BMF show. Was it real? Was it fabricated? Nobody cared, because in the internet court, perception is conviction. And here's the kicker. 50 Cent, the king of clapbacks, the guy who once ended Ja Rule's career with a couple of interviews and memes, was silent, radio silence. No Instagram post, no shady meme, no sarcastic press statement. For the first time in years, Curtis Jackson was getting cooked online without throwing grease back. And that silence? It spoke louder than any tweet. Theories started flying. Some fans swore 50 was plotting something nuclear behind the scenes, because silence, in his world, usually means the calm before the troll storm. Others said Meech had hit him where it hurt most, his pockets and his pride. And when pride and profit collide, that's when even Curtis Jackson needs a moment to recalculate. But Meech wasn't done. Oh no, he doubled down. Reports swirled that he made it crystal clear. No money, no deal, no Curtis. The bag was officially on lockdown. And that kind of public shutout is devastating for someone like 50, whose brand depends on being untouchable. You can roast his enemies, clown bankruptcies, flex on rivals, but once people realize you just got benched by the very man whose story you've been profiting from, that's a dent you can't buff out with vitamin water. And speaking of vitamin water, let's talk legacy. Fans started comparing 50 to those businessmen who make billions off cultures they didn't build. Think McDonald's taking over pizza joints in Italy. Or Elon Musk claiming he invented tunnels when moles already been doing it for free. The narrative shifted fast. 50 wasn't the genius behind BMF's success. He was the opportunist. He was Hollywood's middleman. And once that label sticks, good luck shaking it off. The domino effect was brutal. Commentators started questioning his other projects. Was Power really his creation, or just another hustle piggybacking off someone else's? Grit? Was 50 really a mogul, or just the loudest man in the room cashing checks from other people's pain? You could practically hear Curtis screaming in his penthouse. Because reputation isn't just important to him, it's his whole empire. And just when fans thought it couldn't get messier, Lil Meech, Big Meech's son and star of the BMF show, got dragged into the fire. The internet started dissecting his every move. Was he Team 50 or Team Dad? Was he going to keep filming with Curtis while his father iced him out? Every Instagram post of his got bombarded with comments like, "Don't bite the hand that fed your pops. And choose wisely, lil bro." It turned into a family soap opera overnight. Even Stars, the network that bankrolls BMF, was reportedly sweating. Imagine investing millions into a show only to find out the guy you marketed it around just pulled the plug on the cultural credibility. Insiders whispered about meetings, contracts, lawyers, and suddenly it wasn't just a hip-hop beef. It was a corporate headache that could spiral into lawsuits. Fans online compared it to a hip-hop version of Game of Thrones. Meech was Tywin Lannister, cold and calculated even from behind bars. 50 was Cersei drunk off power until someone took the throne away. And the internet? Oh, the internet was the dragon, breathing fire on everyone just for laughs. Through it all, one thing became clear. This wasn't just another 50 Cent feud. This was different. Because usually, Curtis picks fights with people he knows he can embarrass. He'll troll your rule, clown Diddy, even roast Floyd Mayweather's reading skills. But Meech isn't someone you troll. He's someone whose respect you either earn or you lose. And once you lose it, there's no Instagram filter in the world that can make that look pretty. The stage was set for Curtis to either rise from the ashes or crumble under the weight of humiliation. Fans waited, popcorn in hand, for the next move. Because if there's one thing more entertaining than 50 Cent roasting others, it's watching him scramble when the roast is on him. And this time, the flames were hotter than ever. Now here's where the fallout really sets in. Once the smoke cleared from Meech's bombshell and the internet finished its week-long roast session, everyone started asking the million-dollar question. What does this mean for 50 Cent? Because let's be real, this wasn't just some random squabble over royalties. This was the kind of power move that shakes reputations, scrambles alliances, and makes even billion-dollar networks sweat through their suits. It was like someone yanked a crown off the king mid-coronation. And not just any king, a king who built his entire empire flexing about how untouchable he is. Curtis Jackson has always thrived on being the aggressor. His brand is humiliation. He wins not just by stacking money, but by clowning opponents until the world laughs them out of the room. But now, for the first time in forever, he was the punchline. And that, my friends, hits harder than any bankruptcy headline or Ya Rule clapback ever did. The aftermath was brutal. Late-night hosts couldn't resist. Jimmy Kimmel joked, 50. Cent just lost his BMF bag, which means he's officially down to 49. Twitter ate it up. Fallon threw shade too. Even Monopoly money lasts longer than 50 Cent's deals with Big Meech. When mainstream comedy starts cooking you, you know the fire's officially spread beyond hip-hop. And it wasn't just jokes, it was business. Whispers started surfacing that Starz execs were panicking behind closed doors. Because let's face it, without Meech's blessing, the cultural credibility of BMF crumbles faster than Jenga blocks in an earthquake. The show wasn't just entertainment. It was built on real history, and if the man behind that history publicly cut off 50 Cent, that's not a small PR issue. That's a scandal that could tank entire seasons. Some insiders claimed lawyers were already being looped in. Who owns what? Who gets paid? Could Meech legally stop the bag from flowing to Curtis? Or was this just a moral statement amplified by the internet? Nobody had answers, but the uncertainty itself was enough to rattle the empire. Suddenly, 50's power plays looked shaky. The mogul who once bragged about being 10 steps ahead was now stumbling like he missed the memo. And the streets. Oh, the streets had already made their ruling. Forums lit up with debates, but the overwhelming consensus was simple. Meech's word is gospel. If he said Curtis is out, period, fans started clowning 50 with nicknames like half, dollar and quarter cent. Some even edited his classic Get Rich or Die Trying cover to read, Get Cut Off or Keep Crying. Savage doesn't even begin to describe it. But here's the fascinating twist. Humiliation doesn't always kill careers. Sometimes it reinvents them. And Curtis, being the master manipulator he is, started planting seeds for a comeback. Out of nowhere, reports leaked that he was working on new projects outside of Starz. Translation: he was trying to prove he didn't need the BMF bag to stay relevant. Still, the damage lingered. Because no matter what Curtis launched next, the narrative stuck. Big Meech had exposed him. And in the culture, perception is reality. It's like when Drake dropped back-to-back on Meek Mill. Once you've been publicly roasted, the scar never really fades. People will always reference it, always bring it up, always remind you. And for 50, this scandal became his scarlet letter. Even his frenemies smelled blood. Diddy's camp allegedly cracked jokes at industry parties. Floyd Mayweather's circle threw shade about 50 finally being broke. Enemies he hadn't beefed with in years suddenly reappeared like roaches after the lights go out. Because when the alpha lion stumbles, the hyenas swarm. And Curtis, for all his bravado, was giving off serious limping lion energy. But let's not forget, this is 50 Cent. If there's one thing history has taught us, it's that Curtis doesn't stay down for long.
Humiliation fuels him. He thrives on revenge arcs.
Some fans even predicted he'd spin this whole disaster into a storyline for a new show. Maybe call it Cut Off, the BMF fallout. He's that petty, he's that resourceful, and honestly,
he's
that entertaining. Yet even if he claws his way back, one truth remains. The myth of invincibility has been shattered. For years, 50 carried himself like a hip-hop Thanos, untouchable, inevitable, always holding the final snap. But Meech just reminded the world that even Thanos bleeds. And once the illusion is gone, it's gone. As for Big Meech, his legacy just skyrocketed. With one move, he proved that even from prison, he can shake the industry to its core. Cutting 50 off wasn't just about money. It was a flex of respect, a reminder that the story belongs to him and him alone. It was like saying, Curtis, you may control the cameras, but I still own the script. And that message hit harder than any diss track could. Fans online crowned Meech as the ultimate boss move maker. Memes dubbed him the real executive producer. TikToks called him the godfather of cutoffs. It became clear that in this Saga, Meech wasn't just a character in the story, he was the author. And where does that leave us? With a cliffhanger worthy of Netflix itself. Will 50 claw back with a revenge play? Will stars scramble to renegotiate? Will Meech tighten his grip and shut down the entire production? The only certainty is that the drama isn't over. Because with Curtis Jackson, the beef is never really finished. It just reloads. So buckle up. Because if this was the earthquake, the aftershocks are still coming. And in the messy world of hip-hop moguls, one thing's guaranteed: today's scandal is just the trailer for tomorrow's chaos. And there you have it, folks. The scandal that just made every hip-hop beef in history look like a middle school food fight. Big Meech just cut 50 Cent off the BMF bag, and the internet is still wiping the barbecue sauce off its fingers from roasting Curtis alive. Forget plot twists on Power. This is the real drama, unscripted, raw, and 10 times messier. But let's be honest, you didn't come here for the facts, you came here for the fireworks. And if you want more scandals that explode harder than a Kanye rant at an awards show, you know what to do. Smash that like button like it owes you money. Pound the subscribe button like 50 pounding Ya Rule's career into dust. And for the love of all things messy, drop a comment below, because I know you've got opinions hotter than Rick Ross's lemon pepper wings. Was Big Meech a genius for pulling the plug? Or did 50 Cent fumble the biggest bag of his career? Did Curtis deserve to get benched, or is this just hip-hop's version of a WW storyline? I want to hear it all. The roasts, the hot takes, the conspiracy theories, and don't act shy. Because on this channel, the scandals don't sleep. The drama drops here, first, sharper, louder, and way pettier than anywhere else. You think today was wild? Tomorrow's mess will make this look like a Hallmark movie. So stay locked in, because the beat never stops, the scandals never end, and the chaos only gets louder. This is Beat East, where hip-hop's dirtiest secrets come to dance. Curtain down, receipts up. See you in the next storm.